Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. It's another new day. That's the 6th day of July 2021. And of course, it's Tuesday here in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. And you're welcome to the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. My name is Merciful Ajinomo.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Good morning, Sagir.
Good morning, Merciful.
How are you?
Very well, and you?
Good. Did you sleep well, though?
Well, I did. Thank God.
All right, we'll bring you the quotes of the day, and after that, we'll have the development across Africa.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust to provide effective relief and is gentle on the stomach. Try Panadol Caplets for relief from headaches, body aches, and fever. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet gently breaks down in the stomach, quickly absorbs, and starts providing pain relief in 15 minutes. For fast and effective pain relief that you can trust, try Panadol Caplets. This has been Medifacts for Panadol.
Now let's dive into some stories from development across Africa. The first one is talking about Ethiopia. And the Tigray region rebels in a statement on Sunday said they want a full withdrawal of troops from Eritrea and the neighboring state of Amhara and must be recognized as the legitimate government in the region before it can engage in any talks with the federal government about a ceasefire. The authorities in Addis Ababa earlier declared a unilateral ceasefire as the rebels retook much of the region and government officials fled.
Well, at least they are not fighting.
Right.
Yes.
You know, Ethiopia has been on the front burner for a long time now. We've had so many issues, even farm miners, as a result of the fight and the rebels against the government and on and so forth. So people have been expecting that the ceasefire, yes, will bring about rest and calm. But now they're asking for stuff.
Well, it's only natural for them to do so because, I mean, for a very long time, the Tigray Liberation Front has always claimed to be the legitimate power, in the Tigray region.
Yeah.
So if for any reason the Ethiopian government would want a ceasefire, they should also come to the balance and everything. That they will be the leaders of the region. Because as a matter of fact, I cannot be from a region and then somebody from somewhere would come and start controlling the resources as well as the people in that region. So I know my people and they know me. I know them better than you claim to know them or you think you know them. So if there's anybody that is going to triumph or that is going to lead my people, it has to be me. I think that is the arguments they are bringing to the table. But like I said, it's a good thing. At least they are not fighting over it.
Yes.
And this is all geared towards peace. So let's just wait and hope that, we see it comes to, a mutual conclusion.
Let's hope that they meet halfway, so everyone is smiling.
As a matter of fact, I hope so as well. Okay, we go to Mozambique now, where to support the population affected by the conflict in Cabo Delgado, Mozambique, humanitarian aid sent from Portugal and Italy have begun arriving in the country. And Cabo Delgado province has been terrorized for more than 3 years by extremists, and almost 2 million people face food shortages due to the security problem in the region, severe drought, and the impact of COVID-19.
This is really too much.
Yes,
talking about insecurity, talking about COVID-19 coming at the same time, and we've had people losing lives and properties in Mozambique.
And as a matter of fact, Mozambique has been affected by different form of crisis, be it the extremist crisis, and followed by, it's a gas-rich nation. So it seems like, it always skips my mind the name of the particular region that is rich in, gas, and then militants came and took over that region and said, look, we're not going to allow anybody to tap from our resources because they're feeling marginalized and all of that. And this brings, the saying that uprising only happens when a people begin to feel a sense of being cheated or a sense of not being given what they are due. In a situation where people find themselves in that position, they begin to complain, they begin to talk, and if nothing is done about it, they find whatever means necessary to get their voices heard. So perhaps, that is the case. And it's a good thing, like they said, ages are started coming in from various countries across the world.
We've had 2 million people suffering shortage of food and everything.
Yes, as a matter of fact. So it's a good thing we see, help coming from outside. However, we also need to know that the government is doing something to ensure that the extremists and the activities is being tackled from the inside.
Yes, definitely. Now we move over to South Africa, where the coronavirus cases have reached 20,000 mark. Record-setting numbers were reported in South Africa over the weekend, with more than 26,000 new cases driven by the Delta variant, according to the National Institute for Communicable Diseases. According to the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention, South Africa's 2 million cases amounts for more than 30% of the cases reported on the continent. That's South Africa having more than 30% of the cases in the whole of the African continent. That's quite much if you ask me.
It is the most impacted by the coronavirus pandemic, and that's because the Delta variant of the virus was found in South Africa. Now, as at yesterday, I think 136 students have also tested positive for the coronavirus in Ghana, and they tested positive for the Delta strain. So now what the world is trying to do is try as much as they can to ensure that they have vaccines that are
effective enough to quell the Delta variant, because it's a very strong one.
The Delta variant is what is causing most of the third waves, fourth waves, or various waves that we see currently ravaging countries. So perhaps this still brings me back to my core, that governments should sign memoranda of understanding with the various countries or with the various vaccine producers to ensure that vaccine production is domiciled in Africa, which will further ensure that more Africans, are vaccinated. Because up to right now, I believe that even it's not up to 1% of Africans that have been vaccinated. So the earlier this is done, the better for all of us. Yes, understood, they need patent rights and all of that. When that is sorted out, if you're going to be paying a particular fee or as commission or whatever it is, whatever the term they call it, to domicile the production of vaccine in the various African countries who can afford to do so, to ensure that this vaccine, are spread across the other African countries who do not have the capacity to produce the vaccine. It is going to be better for the continent, as a region. We have the African Union, ECOWAS is there, and the various, regional commissions.
Yes.
Regional commission. So what I expect they should be doing is sit together, discuss, and see how this can be done to ensure that the coronavirus is brought to the barest minimum. How do they do that? By ensuring that production is domiciled in Africa. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, the virus does not affect just one person. It is a no respecter of person, religion, or class. Everybody is affected. Economies globally are going to be affected. If one economy in Africa is under threat, all economies are under threat.
Definitely, because we work hand in hand.
Exactly. So the earlier the better, basically.
The earlier the better. Talking about vaccination, it's this time where I have to tell you, you have to take the COVID-19 seriously. Make sure you wash your hands, follow all the guidelines and protocols so you're being protected. But coronavirus is still very much available, and we cannot afford a third wave in Africa. We're already seeing some signs, but we cannot afford it. So please stay protected. I'm talking about vaccination. Let's bring you the COVID-19 update from across Africa before we bring the newspaper segment of the show.
North to South Africa, East to West Africa, TOS TV Network is your digital-first Pan-African news network, bringing you news from across the continent. Visit our website www.TOSTVNetwork.com and follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Watch us on television, channel 138 on TOS TV Africa.
It is still the conversation on your digital-first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. And yes, like I always say, you could be part of the conversation by connecting with us on our various social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TOS TV Network. And you could also connect with us and watch us live on our website at www.tostvnetwork.com. You could also watch the conversation recap as well as some of our other programs on our YouTube page at TOS TV Network. Do remember to like and subscribe. It is the newspaper segment of the conversation, and this morning we begin with the Nigerian Pilot newspaper, and we go straight from the very top. We see Boko Haram appoint governors in Borno collect taxes. Right beside that, we see Pandef rejects PIB, demands immediate reversal of provisions. And for the banner headline on the Nigerian Pilot newspaper of this morning, we see over 100 abducted, and there are a couple of riders underneath the banner headline there. Over 100 students missing as bandits storm Bethel Baptist School, Kaduna. We gave the bandits hot pursuit, rescues 26 students, and that's according to the police spokesman. Says armed bandits in large numbers gained access to the school in Kujama. And the last rider there, Governor El-Rufai orders immediate closure of 14 schools in the area. This and a couple of other stories could be found on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. There are a couple of other headlines on the Nigerian Pilot newspaper this morning. You could simply grab a copy to keep updated. And taking some headlines from the Blueprint newspaper this morning, we begin from the very top. 24 hours after attack on Kaduna Leprosy Center, bandits abduct Bethel school student teachers. We have two riders. The first, police rescue 27, El-Rufai orders closure of 13 schools. And KB Group gives 7 days for Yahoo students release. We have a headline underneath that story there. We see I have no plans to float any political party, coming from the former president of Nigeria, that's Olusegun Obasanjo. That can be found on page 8. The very gaping headline there is, despite federal government's caution on open grazing ban, southern governors fix September 1st for takeoff. Three riders. The first say security agents must notify us before any operations, insist on president of southern extraction, reject Senate 3% equity to host all communities, OK reps 5%. A couple of other headlines on the Blueprint newspaper. For the Business Day newspaper this morning, we begin with the gaping headline there. Nigeria's wheat demand surges as Gari rice prices spike. Underneath, we have a rider there. Miller's import record 2.8 million metric tons in first quarter of 2021. Beside that, we see Kuwait's $700 billion future generation fund mocks Nigeria's bleak plan. Underneath that, we see Inside, Southern governors pick September 1 deadline for the enactment of anti-open grazing law. And right underneath that, we see Supreme Court adjourns hearing in $15 billion petrol union fraud case till October 7th. A couple of other stories on the Blueprint, the Business Day newspaper, I beg your pardon, this morning. You can simply get a copy, to get updated. And the last national daily for this morning is the Daily Trust newspaper. And the very conspicuous headline there, the banner headline, talking about 2023 presidency. Southern governors shut out Atiku, Kwankwaso, Tambuwal, others. Three riders. The first set September 1st for open grazing ban. Silent on Kanu, Igboho. Afenifere Pandef back governors. Lawyers say resolution not binding. And North can't be intimidated, coming from the NEF. We'll go on a quick breather, and up next on the conversation is the big story.
Ajaye go gym. calm down. Eat the farm say it's happy. You want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Always remember,
this man I have creative design. We really like it, but
you deserve a break. You can indulge in a cup of 3-in-1 Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Indulge.
Now available in the 450 grams pouch.
A big thank you for staying tuned to the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. Don't forget you can always be a part of our social media community by following us across all our social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course live stream our program on the website www.TOSTVNetwork.com. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube page, please do so you do not miss out on our amazing content. It is the big story, the crux of the conversation. And this morning we'll be talking about insecurity and kidnapping, the way forward. And joining us this morning via the telephone is Ambassador Dr. Roy Okhidievbie, a security expert. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Excellent. I trust my sound is clear?
Yes, very clear. We can hear you very well. Thank you. First of all, let's dive into it. What can you make of the recent spate of abductions from schools and universities for ransom in Nigeria, especially the northeastern part of Nigeria?
Well, thank you. And, well, it's very sad. It's sad because Nigeria has been held to ransom. And you will be surprised to know that this kidnapping is now zeroing into certain specific areas. Mm-hmm. And if you hear the way the governor of Kaduna State has been backing against insecurity, backing against the encroaches into the free spaces of Kaduna State, you would have thought that this is not going to be a state to be used as a front line of kidnapping. Okay. You know, so it's very clear that Nigeria is faced with a menace that is enabled by the irresponsibility of government office holders and the government itself and the judicial system.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sir, I would want to ask, just yesterday, I think, over 100 students were kidnapped in Kaduna State, in Kujama area of Kaduna State. Now, bearing this in mind and putting into consideration the president's open threat to those causing mayhem in the country, as well as the Safe School Initiative, which was, as a matter of fact, launched in 2014, what do you think the government is not doing right? Because it seems like a lot is being done and yet nothing is coming to fruition.
Well, before the government, there is enough proposal that could have nipped this thing in the bud. Okay. You know, but why I said the judiciary initially is that if my child is kidnapped, yes, and I have all the information regarding the vulnerability triangle, yes, that enables my child to be kidnapped, I'll take them to court. I'll take the government to court, and the trauma my child faces, even if he comes out alive, yes, the money that they will pay for damages by a responsible judicial system, I'm sure the government will put its act together. Okay. Now, if you look at Kaduna State, I served in Kaduna State as a military personnel for 9 years. I was member in one mechanized infantry division. And incidentally, I did a program in school, National Diploma in Bamali University Polytechnic in Zaria. So I crossed through all the canvases. Now, if you will see that Kaduna State, it has the highest number of military institutions.
Yes.
It has the highest number of police institutions.
Yes.
And Kaduna State itself is held to ransom by the economic activity. So that means we have Igbos there, we have Yorubas there, we have Hausas, we have all tribes into businesses that are thriving, just like Kano.
Yeah.
So tell me why we cannot be able to understand that with the civilian content, we can have intelligence to know if a school is being profiled for attack and kidnap. By the military content, by the police content, we have in this intelligence, we could be able to create a kind of security system that will arrest the people that want to attack such a school. Then if you look at technological opportunity, now there is something we call lockdown state. A state can be locked down through all the existing outlets. If you attack a school in Kaduna, no matter where it is, you must exit through the bush, through the water, or through the road. You can't fly. Our spaces are not open for any other alien aircraft that's not authorized by ACA or FAN. So why can't we now put checkups on all those existing routes by the community existing there? That's why I said we have negated the use of our veteran community. Because veterans live everywhere. You can engage a veteran to become your eye in any sector, nook, and cranny. That will be able to tell you when people are moving. How can you move 100 people? Did you make them invisible? Nobody saw where they went through. And because I live in this community, if you pass through this way, I will know that you are going to arrive in XYZ place. So what was the follow-up rescue mission? What was the extradition mission? What is the activity of government agencies to show that you said we should not pay ransom? So if we are not paying ransom, we should be able to look at the kidnapper in the eye, remove our people that you kidnap, and deal with you ruthlessly.
Okay, that's quite a good one. Now, sir, I'm going to ask, now bearing in mind that these pockets of kidnapping and abduction have been going on in various areas, and as a matter of fact, a couple of them has been tied to, of course, the Boko Haram sect as well as the ISWAP sect. And seeing as well that just yesterday, the Boko Haram ISWAP not only merged, but also appointed a governor in Borno State. Putting all this into perspective, do you think they are in one way or the other connected and just, a means of financing the Boko Haram to ensure that they, unleash more mayhem on Nigerians?
Yeah, because, you guys have been in this media and this space.
Yes.
You have been following all this crisis.
Yes.
You can see that Evans the kidnapper did kidnapping with Wadume to raise funds. And when you see certain people doing kidnapping in the Niger Delta, it is to make a statement that we are being marginalized and all that. But when you see people break out from the terrorist group and say they are now bandits, because so many generals that were kicked out are now claiming to be bandits in one community or the other. Now, when the terrorist group itself starts to raise its money, they tax people. Like the new governor you are talking about, he has raised taxes, 5,000 naira for farmers, 2,000 naira for fishermen. You can imagine that, and those same people, if they are able to move their products out of those areas, they will pay another tax to government. And they will not only pay to government, they will pay to area boys. And all of these things will add up to the cost of the food when it gets to the final consumers, the Nigerians. Then now, if you look at those places that they are now claiming ownership, we have a military that is supposed to protect the territorial integrity of the country. But they are compromised. Why are they compromised? Because people are driving the crime to banditry and being sympathetic. People are ascribing the crime to terrorism and saying it is religious. And some Muslims that are intelligent are saying terrorism is not Islam. Islam does not preach this kind of violence and criminality. So where we are right now, we have a government with a military that cannot react to situations. So the challenge continues. Okay. But if we have a judiciary that should begin to look at criminal justice penalty for those that have been arrested, to stop the radicalization, because it's not going to help. It will only recycle the criminal gang members. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming on the show via the telephone.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, viewers, for staying tuned to the conversation, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network. Like I always say, just be a part of the social media community. Drop your comments, concerns, contributions on our social media platforms at TOS TV Network, also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our website as well, www.tostvnetwork.com. Thank you again. My name is Merciful Ajinomo.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you so much for watching, and see you tomorrow.